Yo, what's happening, Five Nation? Welcome to yet another unscripted episode. This one is with myself, Erin Masemola. Now, every person knows that this year, 2023, the country is buzzing with excitement. Yes, there are a few World Cups around the world, specifically for the ladies, but the one that we are hosting is the Netball World Cup in Cape Town, and we are so incredibly excited. So what I decided to do is to go back into the vault. Some might call it the archives, and find some of the players that have actually done quite well for the Proteas. One of those players is Erin Burger, and she joins me today, and I would love for us to talk about the Netball World Cup and also what she's doing at this point in time after her retirement from the sport of netball.
I can't do no small talk, no small talk. I'm not with the small talk. Can't be with the small talk.
Erin, how are you doing this morning?
I'm great, thanks. I have to be honest, everyone's really excited about this Netball World Cup.
Yeah, no, the energy is buzzing. Are you feeling the gees at the moment?
Yes, I definitely think it's becoming a reality. I see the pools are out and we're realizing against who we're going to be up against. So I think everyone's starting to feel that it's actually happening soon.
Definitely. Yeah. Let's take you back to your playing days. I know that you played in 4 different World Cups.
Yes.
How was that? And what are the players feeling at the moment? Are they nervous? Are they excited?
Yeah. I think they're a bit of both. I think obviously you're a bit excited because it's something you work for a while. Like it's every 4 years, so there's a build-up. And the fact that it's in our country, I want to say there's excitement because of that, but it's also a little bit of pressure because you want to perform well in your own country. I think it's really nice for the players to actually have it in South Africa because usually when you're on tour, you don't have your family and friends there that can support. Maybe you have 1 or 2, but you don't have everyone there. And now I want to say there's no excuse for everyone to come and support. So I think the fact that it's in South Africa, in Cape Town, I think there's going to be a lot of home support and people that actually just love our country. So I feel like that already builds the excitement and get everyone excited. And you kind of realize that you're playing for more than just yourself. You're representing like South Africa. How lucky can one be? So yes, I think the pressure is definitely there. The excitement is definitely there. But by now they would have prepared really well. So I expect everyone to be ready and fit to go.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Let's take you back to the 4 World Cups that you played. Yeah. You know, I'm certain that there are some tough moments during a World Cup because you are competing against the best in the world.
Yes.
What were some of those tough moments that you went through psychologically and both on the court?
There's a few things that I can think of, but obviously it's the best of the other countries also coming to represent them, and it's super competitive. It's one of the biggest, I want to say the pinnacle thing in netball that you can play. We do have Commonwealth Games, but we don't have Olympics, so the Netball World Cup is one of the biggest events that you can go to. Obviously you want to do well there. I think sometimes you get a bad, I don't want to say bad draw, but a tough draw. And then if you don't beat a team, you can't get to the semis or you can't go through. Obviously, you need to beat the best to be the best.
Yes.
And I think we got the closest to that in the previous World Cup, where we actually beat Jamaica. And then we were in the semi-finals. We got the semi-finals against Australia. And we only lost with 2 goals. So that was a tough one because with 2 goals, you could have been in the final. And that reality makes it like really tough to think 1 or 2, I want to say silly things could have changed the whole game. So that was a tough one to swallow, but it was nice to be that competitive. I think where I started with my first World Cup, we weren't that competitive. So yes, there was a lot of lessons learned, but I think the last one, like not being able to get to that final, was a tough one.
Yeah, so close, but yet so far.
Yes, exactly.
But besides the difficult moments, I'm sure there were some incredibly exciting moments and moments that stand out for you as a player.
Yes.
And I would like to take you back to 2011, Singapore.
Yes.
I believe that was a special World Cup for you.
Yes, definitely. So obviously before you play the game, you sing the anthem, and we would always turn to the flag. And I couldn't afford to take both my parents, but my mom went with me. So we had a month prior to the World Cup, like a pre-camp in Singapore, to just get together as a team and to have a great build-up. And I remember I was still ill in the build-up, and I didn't go out of the hotel too much. It was literally court hotel, and I was so excited for my mom to actually come in. You were a bit homesick, and you want the tournament to start and all of that. And I remember turning to the flag, and like sometimes you're in a different country, but you don't get to share it with the people that's close to you because they're back home. And I turned to the flag and I faced it, and at the other side of the flag, my mom was facing the flag as well.
Beautiful.
But in that moment, we made eye contact, and it was just such a special memory, like to share that special moment. Like obviously they were there with the ups, the downs, everything in between, and just to share that moment with her. Like yes, there's victories, there's losses, there's things like that, but to get to share that special moment with her was really something I'll take with me forever.
Absolutely beautiful. And what I love most is that it actually happened at a World Cup.
Yes, exactly.
Which is the most important tournament for any netball athlete.
Yes.
So absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the retirement, because when you go through the challenges, you go through the success, at some point all of that comes to an end.
Yeah.
And you need to make that decision to say that I love the sport, but I want to do something different. I don't want to compete on the court anymore.
Yes.
How did that happen for you? And take us through the process of deciding that this is time.
Yeah. I have to be honest, it wasn't an easy decision, and it wasn't one that I took lightly or made like, I want to say just after the World Cup. At the previous World Cup, I thought about it, or I started thinking about it, and I thought we really had a good run. We were in the semis, we lost with 2 goals, we were competitive. That year we also almost beat New Zealand, so it felt to me like we were at the top of our game. And then that year I also got an opportunity to play in Australia, where it's professional. And then I came to a crossroad. Am I going to play still for another 4 years, or am I going to focus on my work? And I felt like I had a good run and that I did do what I wanted to do as a player. And then I wanted to... So when I started playing for the Proteas 13 years before that, we weren't that competitive. We lost by 30 to 40 goals against the top teams. And then we were at a place where we were competitive. And what changed? And then I wanted to share that and make a difference with my coaching. So then I decided maybe I can make a bigger difference, not as a player, but as a coach. And that's why I decided to retire as a player and to focus more on my job, to actually give back what I've learned. So I was lucky enough to experience it like firsthand. I want to say what didn't work and what worked. And sometimes it's something small. And then I thought, okay, it's a great time. I want to use that competitiveness and being on a high, and I want to go out like that. So, it was a tough one. But, now I actually get to do what I also love. A lot of people ask me, do I miss it, the playing? And I think you always will, but it doesn't feel like I want to put myself on court. Like it's nice for me to be next to the court and still have influence and actually can make a difference from the side of the court now.
Definitely. I want to shine a spotlight on the fact that you played club netball in Australia for the Fireballs.
Yes.
And just from an experience point of view, and now what you take from that and you bring into your coaching as well, how was that experience, and what were some of the lessons that you learned from playing in a completely different country, in a completely different league?
Sure. I have to say that was like a dream come true. I think if you a youngster growing up in South Africa, back when I still played, it wasn't a reality that you can make it like a job, that you can get paid to play netball. It have changed since I've played, but so it was like a dream thinking to play in Australia or New Zealand. And I was lucky enough, I actually went over twice, and both times was with an injured player. So I weren't there for the whole year, but I got a chance to experience that. And I have to be honest, like how professional it is. Like everything is just there. Your job is literally to do what you love, to play netball. You get there, the strapping is there, the cold drink, the water, the everything. I'm like, what? I remember trying to help the manager carry everything. And she's like, stop doing that. It's my job. And I'm like, I'm so used to trying to help, because we used to having volunteers, people that like, it's not your job to get my strapping. So I'll just help you. I'll strap myself or whatever. So it was really nice to experience that as a player. I think it's any girl's dream to like a rugby guy, dream to be a rugby player, to be a girl and actually dream to be a netball player that does that professionally, and that's your job, to just perform and to train and to play. So it was really nice to see how a professional setup works, the analysis, the recovery, the everything that goes with it. So yeah, I was really lucky to experience that.
Oh, absolutely amazing. And now in terms of what you are doing after your playing days, I know that you are involved with the University of Pretoria in terms of their netball structures, and you also have your own coaching academy, if I may call it that, where you work with young girls in terms of improving their skills. Tell us a little bit more about that part of your life at the moment.
So yes, obviously coaching is close to my heart in netball, and trying to make a difference and actually share what I've learned. I did a few things wrong, and I think a lot of the netball improved a lot over the years. So it's just to get that message across. And so yes, I do have my own coaching company. The first part is to travel to schools, where we go to schools that doesn't get all the opportunities. On a side like countryside and places like that doesn't have all the best coaches. Not saying that they don't have good coaches, but just to give them the exposure. And then another part is where they actually come to us on a farm. So the farm I use is just outside Masemola, and absolute favorite place on earth. Just netball court and bush. Like, there's not a lot, but I love it. The fact that it's that the kids can just be kids. Like, sometimes in the city they don't get a chance to just be kids and play outside, shoot a can or whatever, things like you would do on a farm. So, and then also to empower the coaches. So that's the third part of it. To actually also, we do that on the farm as well. Because sometimes you're a teacher, but you don't want to really be a coach, or netball isn't your passion. So you actually started to give maths or science or whatever, and now they're like, okay, you're the netball coach. And you're like, what? So just to help them, to empower them, to give them a guideline, like a plan, how to get the kids to actually, what you train in the week to show on court. Because sometimes they do have a plan, but it doesn't transfer to the game. So that's some of the stuff that I'm busy with. There's schools in and around Pretoria that I'm working with. Just getting whatever I've learned out to them, to share the information, to try and make a difference.
Definitely. Let's shine a spotlight on development in the sport of netball in South Africa. Because I often feel it's almost a little bit unfair for us to compare ourselves with countries like Australia, New Zealand and England, because from a development point of view, we're not necessarily where they are at. And you are currently involved in terms of just giving youngsters an opportunity to move closer to the standard that we see internationally. What more can be done in South Africa? I know that sponsors are getting on board. I know that the TNL is improving at the moment and things are looking good. What more needs to be done? Because we can compete at that level. I believe that we've got the talent in this country.
Yes, 100%. I agree with you on the talent, and that actually breaks my heart, because if we have to just focus on talent, we can compete against the best. It's just to get the structures and the systems in place to actually get the players to not stop before we get all of the, I wouldn't say potential out of them. Because sometimes we have the talent, we have the potential, but we don't see it come through. They stop before they actually show what they can really do. So I think sometimes the structure and the system that needs to get them through can be a bit better. And it's like you say, with exposure and money, it will probably come through. For me, I think... the part that I play is just to develop the kids that I get to work with. I feel like sometimes we think someone won't make it and then we just leave them. But in a year or two, if you work hard with them, they will actually come through. I do believe talent can only get you that far, and then it comes down to hard work. So especially schools, like if you think primary schools, that's where a girl grow. So in, let's say, 10 years old, you're not strong, you're not fast, you're not tall, but then in 2 years you're the tallest kid in the school, and then if they don't develop you behind. So if we would just work with those kids, in a year or two they do grow, they are quicker, they are stronger, they're taller, then they actually have a chance and they already develop those skills. So for me, I'm a big I want to say fan of skill development. So I wouldn't mind doing more of that.
Absolutely
Yes.
beautiful. Let's shift our focus now to the big talking point. It is finally upon us, the
Yes.
Netball World Cup that will be hosted in Cape Town. The squad was announced. The squad will be led by Bongi Msomi, vice captain Carla
Yeah.
Pretorius. Looking at the balance between experience and youth in the
Yeah.
team, as a previous player, are you happy with the team that Norma Plummer has selected?
Yes, I think it's a good team. I think there's a lot of talent in the group. And I think, I'm interested in finding out who's the 12 because we're still at 15. And I think that's the word on everyone's mouth at the moment because we want to know who's going to be the 12 representing us. But I think it is a good mix of youth and experience because you still have a Lenise, but then you have a youngster playing maybe with her in the goal attack position. So I think that's a brilliant mix and combination. Sometimes the other teams also counter what they know, and
Yes.
they know a Carla or a Bongi, but then there's that youngster that they don't know. And it feels to me with the youngsters, they're fearless, like they don't
Yes.
know what to expect or who they're playing against.
And they're
So-
hungry as well.
Yes, exactly. So I do hope that mix will be beneficial for the team. And I believe with Norma there, she does bring a certain belief and respect. So I think the girls would just back and go with that.
Definitely. Let's talk about the new head coach,
Yes.
Norma Plummer. And a lot of South African netball lovers have been having this conversation.
Yeah.
And I know that you experienced it as well as a player.
Yeah.
But it almost feels as though she's a consultant to the team, even though she's the head coach.
Yeah.
Because she's not constantly with the team and
Yeah.
constantly in South Africa, she lives in Australia. It's almost like there's a slight disconnect. Heading into a World Cup, is it important for a coach to constantly be with her players? And how would the players feel about it?
Yeah. I don't think it's a problem. I think at the moment it's a difficult situation because a lot of players are actually playing abroad, and then there's players that's playing locally, and then the coach is from Australia. So it's difficult to get everyone in the same, let's say, province or country. But for me personally, the previous World Cup, we were a lot of players playing overseas, and she was in Australia, and we had local players as well. And we knew what was expected of us, and we knew we were heading into a World Cup. So I think it was the closest to being professional in how we trained and the discipline. We knew what was expected because we were used to playing a lot of international games. So we had the quad series every year. So we knew what was expected to compete against Australia, New Zealand and England. So I think if the players takes ownership and the coach knows what to do with that, it wouldn't be a big problem for it only coming in a week or two before it's not, I want to say abnormal. It's not like they're going to train more just because she's here. You know how to train. You know what's expected, so you can do it on your own. And I have to be honest, she brings a lot of respect, and they do listen to what she says. I want to say she brings that kind of belief because she is respected internationally. It's I want to say difficult situation, but I think they know what is expected because it's a World Cup.
Definitely. And I'm sure she's monitoring the players.
Yes.
Because we also live in 2023.
Yes.
I mean, she can watch the games from Australia. She can continuously communicate with the players.
Yeah.
So hopefully it doesn't impact the squad in a negative way. The big talking point, of course, is where will the Proteas finish? We want them at least on the podium.
Yes.
Being a previous player, you know how incredibly difficult it is to end up on that podium with Australia, with New Zealand, and with England.
Yeah.
Is it possible that we can finish on the podium in Cape Town?
Yeah, it's a difficult one to answer. Sport is weird like that. We have in our pool Jamaica, and that's going to be a really tough game. I know 6 of their players are actually playing in Australia's league at the moment, so they're going to be well prepared. But sport is weird like that in the sense that you just have to beat them that one day, and then you're through. So I don't want to make a call and say yes, they're going to podium or no, they won't. I think we all believe in them, and we really want them to do well. So I hope just that one game they beat them and they go through. But it's going to be tough. It's not going to be an easy thing, and you can't just over-focus on one team. Like saying Jamaica is in our pool, we still have Wales and Sri Lanka in our pool. So, sport is like that. You just have to beat them on that day.
If I were to put you on the spot and put some money on the table,
No, I really hope they do well.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, I don't like talking big. I would
Yes.
rather just let them show it on
Mm.
court, and I would be super, super, super happy if they can medal.
Yeah.
Especially on home ground, I will be cheering the loudest. So
Mm.
I do really hope that they can do it. But yeah, I don't like saying, yeah, we're gonna medal and then they don't perform well. So I would rather not say anything and then they perform well.
And then they almost prove the doubters wrong.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
absolutely beautiful. Will you be in Cape Town supporting the
Yes.
ladies?
I actually applied to be a volunteer.
Amazing.
Yes, so that I can be in and around the mix. Yeah, it feels like it would be bad to miss out on World Cup. And we usually pay to go overseas if you're not involved in the team. Like there's a lot of coaches that travel and you go to New Zealand or wherever to go and attend the World Cup. And now it's in South Africa, so I don't want to miss out. So yes, you will be seeing me there in and around, but being a volunteer.
But
Yes.
also giving some advice there on the sideline. When Bongi or Carla walk past,
If
you
they
know,
ask, I
some
will.
advice will be given.
Yes, definitely. I would always want to help. So if they ask me, I will.
Oh, absolutely
Yeah.
beautiful. Erin, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for the incredible ambassador that you are for the sport of netball, specifically in South Africa. And may you continue to grow young talent in this country because we need it. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
This is 5FM.